Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today I want to share with you guys another vintage watch from my collection. And this one here I got as a kid. I don't really remember what age I was. I know I was definitely not in my teens yet. Probably I would say maybe in grade school. And this was definitely something straight out of the 80s. And this is, again, a watch that I don't know if it still works. The battery has been dead for a very, very long time. And one of these days, I will mess around and maybe try to replace the battery. But this one here is the Armitron Lotto Time Calculator Watch. And basically, obviously, it was Armitron's answer to Casio and their, I think it was called their data bank, where it was a calculator and you could store phone numbers in it. Very, very ahead of its time. Casio has always been doing some really interesting things with watches, and I believe they still make that watch. Now, Armitron does not make anything like this anymore. I went to their website and checked out what they had, but they do have a lot of interesting watches for the money. And this was just iconic to the 80s, the calculator watch. Again, not a watch that I wear anymore, not a watch that would get any wrist time, but still a very interesting piece from my vintage collection of watches. I remember being a kid getting this, and I don't remember what store I got it, but I do remember getting the watch. And, you know, as a kid, I kind of went through this phase where I've always liked cool stuff, right? I always wanted things, you know, like most people, right? Most kids. But I was always very meticulous in taking care of things. God, this watch is, I mean, guys, this watch is like, I'd probably say 30 plus years old. And, you know, it's still like in mint condition. There's really no sign of wear on this watch. Maybe just a teeny bit on the back. You can still see the shine on the back of the strap. You can still see in the back, it says acrylic bezel, stainless steel case back, module number LC01 TM67725B, the E Gluck Corp Hong Kong. Pretty cool piece. I don't really remember, you know, this watch was gone for quite some time, and I must not have, obviously I didn't throw it away. I must have had it sitting somewhere, and once I found it, I'm really glad I didn't get rid of it, because this is just a really awesome vintage piece. And I believe what this watch did, naturally you have your calculator, you have your time, and it picked lotto numbers for you. So I don't remember what you actually did to set that. I think you pressed the mode button, and then it would take you into lotto mode. It would just randomly generate lotto numbers for you. So kind of an interesting concept in a watch. Just really, I mean, just straight up like Back to the Future 80s style right here. And again, when I went through that phase, I was mentioning, I forgot to continue on with that, was I didn't really want to, like, I would get stuff and I would like display it. I wouldn't actually wear it. So that's why this watch, as a kid to be owning this, is in mint condition, because I probably never wore it. It probably just sat on my desk for me to stare at. And I kind of went through that phase where I didn't want anything to get dirty. And I'm still very meticulous like that. I'm very neat and organized. I've been that way my entire life. To being a little kid, my bed had to be like no wrinkles. My stuffed animals perfectly positioned, the pillows just right, and I've always been neat and tidy like that. And so that's why this watch is still around after all these years, because I have really been meticulous at taking care of things. So just a cool vintage piece. I did some research on the internet, and I can't find this watch anywhere. The only thing that I can find, a few guys have stuff like this, and there is a phatkatcollections.com, where you're seeing a lot. They said Nerd Watch Museum, and so you have a lot of like vintage Sanyo. Sanyo came out with a watch like this in 1985. The Sanyo Scientific. Citizen had a sort of a calculator design. Kind of an interesting site. I'm going to link it in the description, because I think it's worth checking out if you're into vintage pieces. There's a similar Armitron Melody calculator watch, which I think is pretty cool. Micronta, looks like that was a Radio Shack data bank brand. Texas Instruments, Megasonic, Advance, Computron. It was, I didn't realize there was this many companies that made watches with the whole calculator style. Seiko did it. Another Armitron here. And I'm trying to see if there's nothing really like mine on here. Definitely not anything in this pristine of condition. Oh, I remember that one. Oh, that's a, man. The Armitron Hidden Keypad Calculator Watch. I remember that as a kid looking at that. And there was I remember being a kid looking at watches by Armitron and by Casio and just saying, man, this is like high tech, you know, and you had the boom boxes, and we go into stores like Crazy Eddie and all these different electronic stores and seeing all this new stuff. It's quite a difference compared to what it was like in the 80s compared to now. It's actually comical to think back and see how it's all changed. You can rock this with your hip, what am I trying to say? You can rock this with your, what do they call them? The Sony, the Walkmans, you know, remember the yellow one with the lockdown, keep out sand and water and stuff like that? Pretty awesome, guys. So let's go ahead and throw on the wrist, show you guys what it looks like on a 7-inch wrist. Again, this is a watch that I will never wear, but it's definitely cool to still have it after all these years. And I had a Casio twin graph, and I still have that around here, but the band completely dry rotted. I'm surprised this is held up as long as it has. It must be more of a plastic than a rubber, because if this was rubber, this would have dry rotted and never last. So it says really something about, I guess, the quality of this watch being able to withstand the test of time. I mean, pretty cool. I know it's upside down, but comical, really. But obviously people are still buying stuff like this, because I'm pretty sure not that long ago I looked on the Casio website and they still make the all gold data bank watch. Just amazing. I think it's great having websites like this, because some of these products are going to get lost in history, and it's great that some people still collect vintage timepieces like this. Really cool. And this website's pretty cool. They got boom boxes, Walkman, nerd watches. It says magical gadgets and items for sale. So there must be a pretty big. Oh man, they have even like, it's crazy, they're showing like the catalogs. I remember catalogs like that showing all the different brands. Really cool, man. What a different age we're living in nowadays. Just it's crazy. It didn't really seem like that part of life even existed, but pretty cool, guys. I will link to that in the description. Kind of an interesting site to check out all this vintage stuff. And guys, let me know what you think about the Armitron Lotto Time Calculator Watch. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel, and you guys have a great day. Take care.